if you look here, this is Paul McWhorter's lesson number 57, homework for the Raspberry Pi Pico W. If you'll notice here, let me move the thing back a little ways. You can see I've got a big breadboard, and it's vertically oriented, so anything you put on it requires you to look at things sideways. So I decided to, with the display, I decided to put it on a PC board by itself, add pins so it would plug in vertically, and I did the same thing for the joystick and the servo. You can see the Pico W up here. I've even added a 5-volt regulator so that I can have a good 5 volts. I could use that one, but I prefer, when I'm using like the servo, I prefer to use an external 5 volts. Now, if you look here on the software, you can see that I imported machine, pin, I2C, math, import square root, pi, and arctangent. From time, I import sleep. I try to minimize how much of these things I got to type. Okay, and then I have the display library, frame buffer library, free sans 20. I believe that's a font library, and then there's writer. I'm not sure exactly how those two work together, but you got to have both of them for it to work. Anyway, with my display, it's width 128 and height is 64. I've got it connected to channel 1, channel 1. Clock is on 15 and the data is on 14. And here's where I set up the object. Now if you go down here, I'm defining the pins for the variables. 27 is X and 26 is Y. And then you've got the set up the analog to digital pins. And now if you come down here, I set up a variable for degrees. Then here's where we read the value for the X component of the joystick and the Y component of a joystick. And then over here we calculate. We're trying to get it from 100 to minus 100 on when you go vertical. It's 100, minus 100 when it's down. Okay, so then we do all that, do the calculations. Paul did this one. He said magnitude is the square root to x cal squared to the plus the y cal squared, and that gives us the magnitude. So what I do with the magnitude, this joystick is not too good. I've got 2 of them and neither one of them are very good. So this one's got some dead spots in it. So anyway, I had to put the magnitude for 15 to eliminate some of the error that you'll see on, with this very low quality joystick. Okay, down here I've got, if it's this high, I make it 0 just so I can eliminate all that stuff. Then down here I go. Then I saw ELF. Now I'm setting up the quadrants for the 360 degrees. This one is for the lower left quadrant when you're going down like this. That one there is lower left quadrant, and this one's the upper left quadrant, and this one's the lower right quadrant, and this one here is the upper right quadrant. Then down here I set up the display. I clear the buffer in the display, and then I set up a font size 20. I'm not sure what that reads to, but it's size 20. And it's nice and big so you can read it. Down here, then I set the position of the font writer, gives a position. See, if you'll notice, this all this font writer stuff is keyed to the OLED that's defined up here. If you go up here, you'll find the OLED is here, and that is set up down here in this line here, the writer, and it ties this font writer and the OLED together. This now here I've got the font writer set to position 5.0, 5 steps over, and 0. This is down, and this is the X, and this is the Y. Now, when you do a print, you got to put a string in front of it. And this guy found that out the hard way. And then the position, and I say string degrees. I added degrees here. If you'll notice the display, I have angle first, then I have X axis and the Y axis. And if you go down here, we do all of this, and then you do the OLED show. And down here I've done the accept, interrupt, and I clear the OLED, and then I show it to clear it. Okay, so let's go through here. Now I'll go up, and I don't need to go up. Let's go over to the display here. Okay, if I go up the upper right, it's 45 degrees. You can see it there, 99 and 100. And if I go up here, it's approximately 90 degrees. It's not the great, like I said, it's not the greatest joystick in the world. And then if we go this way, it's 135 degrees. And this way, it's 170, 180 degrees. But like I said, this joystick leaves a lot to be desired. Then in the lower left quadrant, you get 225 degrees. Straight down, you get 275 or 272. And then to lower right quadrant, you get 315 degrees. And over here, you get to 360 approximately. Like I said, there's some dead spots in this thing. So you can see it bounces across 360 to 0. And if I drop it off, it all goes back to 0. The y-axis, this is part of the problem with this joystick, is that nothing I can do to get that 0, with barring just subtracting it when it goes to 0. But anyway, I think it's basically the joystick that's causing that problem. So anyway, here that's my homework, and I appreciate Paul for doing these videos, and thanks a lot. Bye.